Pause Power, Learning to Stay Calm When Your Buttons Get Pushed. Written by Jennifer Law. Illustrated by Brian Martin. Hi, my name is Gabe. This is my story about how I learned to stop letting other kids push my buttons. Most buttons are fun to push, but it's not fun when others push my buttons. It used to happen to me all the time. Then I'd do stuff like yell or hit or run away or even cry. But it wasn't my fault. People made me mad, so I acted mad. Just like a few days ago, I was sitting in class listening to Miss Spencer explain that we were all going to be working with a partner for a research project. She said my partner was going to be Carter. My partner is always Carter. As soon as she said it, my buttons popped up. Big, flashing buttons. Carter hardly does any of the work, and he smells bad. I was thinking about this when Elliot bumped his elbow into me. He sits right next to me and never stays in his own space. My teacher says it's because he's left-handed, and I'm right-handed, and sometimes we need the same elbow room. I think it happens because he's annoying. So when he bumped into me, he pushed my buttons. I shoved Elliot's arm away and yelled, "Move over!" Right away, Miss Spencer sent me to the cool down spot in our classroom. She told me to take some deep breaths. I didn't do it. I know that never works. While I was in the cool down spot, I saw a blue button on my arm. It had a face and it was looking at me. It said, "Hi, Gabe." I didn't say anything. Who talks to a talking button? The button said, "Looks like you're feeling kind of frustrated. This would be the perfect time to take some deep breaths." I rolled my eyes. The button said, "Go ahead, try it." I was annoyed, but I wanted the button to be quiet, so I tried it, just like Miss Spencer taught me. I breathed it in slowly through my nose and out through my mouth. Then I took another deep breath. My buttons stopped flashing. They even started to shrink. And the button with the face started talking again. "Hey, nice job. Can you tell the deep breaths are helping? My name is Preston, by the way." "As in pressed on a button?" I said. Yeah, I've heard that joke before. It used to bug me, but not anymore." "Why are you here?" I asked. "I'm here to teach you about buttons. Haven't you heard you shouldn't let people push your buttons?" "Yes, my parents say that all the time, but I don't let people push them. They just do," I said angrily. "Gabe, that's not really what your parents mean. They mean that how you react to someone else's actions is up to you. Sometimes you let other people's actions and words bother you so much that you make bad choices. When someone is pushing your buttons, you're the one who decides how to handle your feelings and how to behave." "But how do I make the right choice?" I asked. "You can pause and then decide what to do. It's called pause power. Taking deep breaths, counting slowly, noticing how your body is feeling, all these things can help you pause and think. And the cool down spot is a tool, not a punishment. If you feel like you need some space to calm down, you can ask your teacher for this before you make a bad choice." He was right. Miss Spencer is always telling me I can ask for time to calm down if I need to. I took another deep breath and Preston disappeared. Feeling calm, I went back to my desk. I worked with Carter on our project even though he was still annoying. The next day, I was playing soccer at recess. The other team was winning. They kept bragging about it. I felt so mad. Big buttons popped up and started flashing. I heard Michael say, "I think we're going to win. Gabe doesn't even know how to kick." Then this whole team started laughing. I felt like all my buttons were being pushed. I ran at Michael and knocked him down. He started to get up and fight me, but one of the teachers came over and yelled at us to stop. Michael and I both had to go to the office. I sat there, still angry. My buttons stayed big and flashing. Then I heard Preston's voice.
Looks like it's time for some deep breaths.
I took 2 deep, slow breaths. The button stopped flashing. Preston said,
When you use the pause power, the other kids won't get a big reaction from you. Then they won't get to watch the Gabe Temper Tantrum show.
He was right. I know when I just react, I don't make the best choices. Other people know it too. They expect me to blow up. I took 4 more deep breaths and counted backwards slowly. Breathe in, 8, breathe 7, and so on. All my buttons, even Preston, disappeared. Then I was calm enough to talk to Miss Waters, our principal. The next day, Elliot kept tapping his pencil during math. Miss Spencer had asked Elliot and me to switch desks so we wouldn't bump elbows anymore. Now I was trying to concentrate, and he was so annoying. Preston appeared on my arm again.
You can do this,
he said.
You can calm your body when you start feeling angry or frustrated. It takes practice. Be aware and let the deep breaths take it from there. You're on your own now. Just remember to use pause power.
I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Preston disappeared. Maybe I could do it. I took a couple more deep breaths and counted. I felt calm for a few minutes. Then I started worrying. What if I can't do this calm down thing by myself? Just then, Jace threw a wadded piece of paper at me. He had a big grin on his face. That was it. He was pushing my buttons. I jumped up and thought about doing what I would usually do. I even imagined myself throwing that wadded piece of paper right back at Jace's face. But then, I imagined what would happen next. I would end up in the cool down spot, or maybe even in the office. And then the funniest thing happened. Instead of doing what I felt like I was going to do, I remembered what Preston taught me. I took some deep breaths. I was still mad, and my body felt tight at first, but I started to relax. I counted backwards. My buttons stopped blinking. They got smaller, and most of them disappeared. This time, I didn't let myself get upset. I took a deep breath and thought to myself, I can handle this. Since that day, I've been practicing my pause power a lot. Sometimes I even ask to go to the cool down spot when I need to. Now I understand what the grown-ups in Preston were talking about. I have pause power. And all I have to do is use it to stop, calm down, and think. It isn't always easy, but I know it's worth it. Since I've been practicing pausing and making good choices, my buttons aren't so easy to push, and they don't pop out so often. And when I make better choices, people like to be around me, and I make more friends. It feels really good. Well, I feel good most of the time. People will always try to push each other's buttons, but when they try to push mine, I know what to do now. My pause power kicks in. I take some deep breaths and count. I keep doing that until I'm calm, and my buttons disappear. Then I can talk calmly and ask for help if I need it. It really works.